Hey guys, welcome to Kevis and Films. I'm Kevis. Today, I want to talk to you at what I believe to be the three most noticeable upgrades that you can do for your home theater. To start off with, let's get a baseline of where you're probably going to be starting from. If you have a 5.1 system, meaning you've got 5 speakers, likely one in the center, left, right, and rear speakers, and a subwoofer with a receiver, and you have a TV, then this is probably going to apply more to you. To start off with, I want to talk about the visuals. If you have a 55-inch TV or something of the like, you may be thinking, I would like to go a little bit bigger on my TV, and I want to spend a little more money on a bigger TV. I will tell you that a good investment or amount of money, a noticeable difference would probably not be going from a 55 to 65 or even 75. It would be going to a projector and a screen. You can then probably go up, depending on the size of your room. Likely, if you are in a dedicated room, you're likely to be able to go bigger. If you're in a bedroom, maybe you might not go as big, but if you're able to go up to as high as 120 inches in terms of a screen with a projector, that is going to be a day and night upgrade. You're going to be able to sit down. You're going to be able to be totally immersed in the film. One of the things that you see a lot of people talking about, well, what's the distance? How big of a screen is too big of a screen? I will tell you from experience, I started with a 120-inch screen, then worked my way up to a 135-inch screen, and now I'm at a 150-inch screen. If I could go a little bit bigger than that, I probably would. So I don't think there is such thing as too big of a screen for you to have. I think part of the experience when we're talking about home theater, again, is probably matching the experience that we have when we go to the cinemas, when we go to an actual movie theater. That experience comes with a massive screen. So if you're able to then switch from a TV to a screen and projector, you are going to upgrade your game like you have not seen before. The second thing that you can do that would be a massive noticeable upgrade to your room. If you do not have any room treatment, get room treatment. Have you ever noticed when you walk into an untreated room, there's likely echo. You can clap your hands in that room and you're probably going to hear clatter echo throughout the space. Now imagine you're sitting, you're watching a movie, you're in a room with 4 bare walls, and you've got a center speaker. It's pretty powerful, probably works really well. That speaker, while you get directional sound to you, also radiates throughout the room. And sound waves, as they go out, they hit a wall, they hit the real wall, they come back, they start hitting your ear at different times. You ever wonder why sometimes, like, well, man, I really can't understand the dialogue. You start turning up the actual center channel, maybe it's just the volume. But it's not. It's actually, if you were to treat your room, you would then start to have a lot more clarity in what you're hearing when it comes to whether it's your center channel and you're talking about dialogue, or whether pinpointing more special effects or Atmos sounds throughout your room. And you can notice this even if you've got a 5-speaker system. If you're able to start treating your first wall reflection and your rear wall, you're going to notice a massive difference. Now, I would suggest that instead of maybe using that foam boards that you put on your walls, unless they're super thick, maybe 3 to 4 inches, I would suggest that you do it yourself, or you can buy it as well too, but use maybe a 4-inch safe and sound mineral wool to really get a good absorption in your room. Now on mine, I've kind of done the front walls. In my room, I've done the front walls a little bit more than I guess most people would do it. But I can tell you, when I come into my theater, the echo stops. The sound is isolated from the speakers where it's coming from. When I sit down, I don't have any issues hearing any of the dialogue, understanding the dialogue. It's super clear, clarity that I've not really experienced with a room that is not treated. If your seats are up against a back wall, a rear wall in your room, maybe you don't have a big enough room and you're backed up all the way up against the wall, the best thing you can do is try to maybe separate, give yourself about a foot, at least a foot between the seat and the back wall, and then treat that rear wall as much as you can. If you do that, you're going to notice a massive difference when it comes to understanding dialogue. You're going to have less reflecting from the back and into your ears. If you decide to upgrade your speakers and you just say, listen, I'm going to go to the top of the line of whatever speaker this is, a great speaker in an untreated room would probably sound pretty close to a decent speaker in a very well treated room, because you're not going to be able to know the characteristics of that speaker. If you don't have a room that's not treated, you're not going to be able to really appreciate the sounds that are coming from those speakers. So treat your room first. Then after that, if you do not like the sound signature of your speakers, if you still think, hey, I'd like to upgrade to something else, then do it. But first, start with your room treatment so then you can appreciate the upgrades when it comes to upgrading your speakers. Now let's talk about what I think it's probably one of the biggest upgrades that you can truly notice in your theater. That is going to be your subwoofer. Let me tell you my experience. For the longest time, I had a 10-inch downfiring JBL subwoofer that I capped in the front of the room. Actually, I moved it throughout just based on where I could actually locate or have space for a subwoofer. You felt the rumbling, you felt the thumping. It was a decent subwoofer, nothing big. I couldn't really turn it up too loud, but it had got a little good output. From there, I upgraded to a 12-inch Klipsch subwoofer. It is perpetually 50% off at Amazon for about $300. So was it a big improvement from the old 10-inch that I have? Really wasn't. It was a little more boomier. You can feel again the bass. You're watching Kong versus Godzilla, and you're likely going to have good impact throughout. You're going to feel the room rumble in the deep notes. That was fine. And honestly, I didn't know any better, and it sounded good to me. And it wasn't until I decided to take the plunge into the real, what I believe to be a price point upon which when you get that kind of subwoofer, you're going to start noticing different things that you've ever felt before. For the most part, the older subs that I had never really went below 30 hertz. Now, the biggest upgrade that I did, or at least that I noticed, was when I went to the PB2000 Pro from SVS. That was something different. It is probably the first time I've actually felt, whether it be a war movie where they're shooting tanks, you really articulately hear it and feel that. It is completely different. It is tight. It is not as boomy. And it is a different world when it comes to subwoofers. I have never felt anything hit me as hard as that PB2000 did at that time. Now, from there on, I got a little too excited and I got me a second one. So I had one on my left and I had one on the right. The impact was great throughout the front 3 seats. Now, I did a little research and I was looking around to see what would be a starting point for a subwoofer that would make a massive difference from anything that probably comes in a 5.1 in a box system, or if you've got a 10 or 12-inch subwoofer that might cost you less than $200 or even $300. So Shure makes a 12-inch subwoofer for about $700. That is more on their starter entry line, but those at that point, when you start getting into those, they have plenty of power, amp-wise. You're going to start, again, going into a different kind of level when it comes to subwoofer sounds. And now, too, probably for the same price that I bought my PB2000 Pro, prices have gone up ever since. After COVID, everything went up. But you can probably also get a PB1000 Pro from SVS and be able to have that noticeable difference. When you get a subwoofer of that caliber, just make sure that you place it properly in your room. You can't just take a subwoofer and expect it to be, for the most part, perfect just in the first location. You may have to put it in a corner. You may have to move it around. Ideally, if you have REW and you have a UMIC 1, you're able to measure and understand where do you have the best output for that speaker. If you have 2, they're going to sum up together nicely. And if you place them properly, and will give you even better sound throughout your room. So if you're not the only one watching a movie and you got your family, well then, you're going to have more seat-to-seat consistency throughout. So those are my 3. This is a short video. Those are my 3 top things that I would say would make a massive difference if you upgrade in your room. Again, going to a bigger size screen. Number 2, treating your room if you have bare walls right now as we speak. And number 3 is a subwoofer that makes a difference in your room. And in that case, again, going with a Shure, You can try to go with SVS. I now am with PSA. They are fantastic subs. I've gone basically from a 10 to a 12, now to two 18s. I don't see me upgrading anymore. I don't know if I would ever notice a difference beyond that. But then again, I think ignorance sometimes may be bliss, and I don't want to know what it would be like to have a 21-inch subwoofer in my room. So those are the three things that I believe will make a massive impact in your room if you're starting off. Now, I'm pretty sure that there are many other things like, well, maybe you want to upgrade from your $2,000 projector to a $20,000 JVC projector. That would probably be substantial, and that would make a massive difference. But in this case, we're just going from a beginning starting point home theater to your next big upgrade that would make a big difference without breaking the bank. Now, I'm curious to know, what has been that one upgrade in your room that has made a massive difference? Now, whether it be a receiver, whether you upgraded from different speaker line to a different brand, and you thought that was huge, I would love to know. So leave a comment down below. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.